Hey there, you've wandered into the break room of Geeks. It's similar to the Council of Geeks, except things are a little bit more casual, a little bit more laid back, and I don't necessarily worry about filling up 10 minutes, nor am I going to worry about copyright strikes. So, with that in mind, I'm going to take a look at the first released, I guess it's a teaser, for BBC's Dracula. Now, this is being done by Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat, who paired together to do BBC's Sherlock, which was great right up until it wasn't. And of course, both have also worked on Doctor Who, etc., etc., etc. Let's take a look at this thing, shall we? From the makers of Sherlock! Okay. Renfield. Ooh. Ooh. Staking nuns! Whoa! Hello!
Try and stay calm. You're doing very well.
Okay. So they're very much going for a straight adaptation. They're not modernizing this one. They're not doing what Moffat did with Jekyll, and they're definitely not doing what they did with Sherlock. So this is just straight up the original story. Obviously messed with. There was no group of nuns with stakes in the original book, which I have read. Been a long time now, but I have read it. It's a long book, but yeah, pretty sure that wasn't in there. In any case, I think I'd like going back to that setting I like, because I feel like there hasn't really been like a proper gothic take on Dracula in a while. Like ever since Bram Stoker's Dracula in the early 90s, everyone's just gone for some kind of modernization or reinvention. So I'm kind of down for, the straightforward thing. There was some disturbing imagery in that, which perks me up a little bit. Now that's weird. Like, I'm not a gore hound by any means, but I also feel like it's been a long time since Dracula has been gory. Again, Bram Stoker's Dracula was a bit gory. You go back to the Hammer horror films with Christopher Lee. Those were gory for their time. But again, I feel like Dracula as a concept feels very sanitized. And I'd like to see the creepy and the sort of brought back to it. And a lot of the visuals were really cool. It's hard to get a sense of the tone beyond a few visual shots because it's cut like a trailer, which means we don't know how these scenes play out. We don't know how atmospheric. We don't know how prevalent jump scares might be. Like, there was a jump scare or two in the teaser, but that could have been how the teaser was cut and not representative of the scenes they're actually pulled from. So who knows? If there's one minor hang-up I've got, it's the fact that when I'm assuming that was Dracula in the very last shot. When he showed up, I'm like, oh. Which I think gets to kind of the crux of the issue. Beyond all the accoutrement and, the aesthetic that you choose to go with Dracula, who you get to play the part really does kind of make or break it. Because the good Dracula performances are iconic, and like I guess I'll just be a classic movie monster stomp for a minute and say it honestly begins and ends with Bela Lugosi. Nobody's done it better than Bela Lugosi did. Some people have done it different and done different well. Frank Langella kind of did his own thing when he did it in the 70s. Christopher Lee brought his own flavor to it. Gary Oldman, obviously, and also, a lot of not so great ones in various reimaginings and knockoffs and just some of this stuff. It really doesn't work. And this guy, I'm not getting an instant, oh God, that doesn't work vibe, but I am getting a you're not gonna be better than anybody else I've seen, are ya? And that makes me nervous, because he kind of has to be. Like, in some ways, Dracula is like the Joker. You can't... The Joker has been done at this point in so many ways. The only way to win is to do it different than someone else did it before. You cannot go for the same vibe again. That's why if someone asks me my favorite Joker, I honestly don't have an answer, because trying to compare Jack Nicholson's Joker to Cesar Romero's Joker to Mark Hamill's Joker to Heath Ledger's Joker to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, like, they're all doing such vastly different things. And yes, we are allowed to completely discount Jared Leto, but they're all doing such vastly different things that I don't even feel like it's fair to compare them, and they're allowed to each stand on their own. And keeping with the same metaphor, every time somebody who isn't Mark Hamill is doing a Mark Hamill style Joker, it throws me off. Like, they've had Troy Baker come in and do it for a couple of things, and he does an impression well enough, but like, it's not quite working for me. And I think that was part of why John DiMaggio's Joker didn't really work for me in Under the Red Hood. I mean, part of it was I recognize his voice, and that can take me out of stuff sometimes. But anyways, my point being, there are these variety of iconic ways that the character has been portrayed. If you try and do it in a similar vein, you're not going to measure up. So you have to find a different way to do it. And we only got a quick shot, but just looking at the guy, I'm like, not getting a lot off you. Or another really good example, the reason the Hannibal TV show was great wasn't because Mads Mikkelsen was better than Anthony Hopkins. It's because what he was doing was very different from what Anthony Hopkins did. And that's really the only way you can do it. And I'm gonna hope next trailer or whatever we see more of this Dracula and I get more of a vibe, and that vibe is different from this. Yeah. I just hope my first impression of him is off. Because the rest of it looked cool. We'll see. We'll see how we go. Like, I know that Moffat and Gatiss can be very good, so I have a certain amount of, not automatic faith, but I have reason to believe the writing will be decent. But even if the writing's good, if the guy doesn't have the presence to command the screen the way he needs to, that's going to be a problem. So that'll be it for this one, folks. Thanks for stopping in the break room, and I'll see you next time you stop by.